Clock on the wall says 2:48. Last call for alcohol. I shouldn't be awake, but yeah. Well, the last video I made explained that I'm getting involved with drug nonsense, and so I get a couple calls from this person. Like, I don't know, fairly early in the evening, from one number, but their phone doesn't work because who knows what's the truth. But it's broken somehow, but I know that, like, if I call them back on that number, they can hear me, but if I call them, if they call me, I can't hear them. If I call them, they can hear me, but I'm not calling them back. They're just going to want money. Because, yikes. Ooh, along came a spider and sat down beside her. Spider come down from the microphone. I don't do spiders, man. You know, I'm a bit of an arachnophobe, so. Shit. I think I got it. I'm not sure if it was a spider or a centipede. I thought it was a spider because it fell off the microphone when I moved it, but it's moving like a centipede. But other people get to sleep with beautiful or at least semi-attractive women. I get bugs. Anyways, that would be the action sequence of this video. But yeah, it's 2:50 a.m. This is like so past my bedtime. I get up at between 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning every morning, the way I like it. But I was starting to say, this person is calling me. I know this got the substance issue, and my lights are out. There's no lights on in the playroom, but I don't know. They really couldn't see the light on in my bedroom, but I might have had the light on in my bedroom. But they start blowing up my phone at 12:26. Just 3 calls right in a row. You know, you're either waking me up or I don't want to talk to you. One or the other. So I answer the phone. And this is what I say. What the fuck do you want? And she's like, nothing. If you're gonna swear at me. And I'm like, no, seriously, what's going on with you? Nothing. Nothing. I was just gonna try to borrow some money to buy some cigarettes. Borrow $10 to buy some cigarettes. But I don't want nothing now. Expect me to apologize for something for answering the phone like that. And getting, getting me pissed off at 12:30 in the morning. And disrupted my sleep. And I'm still angry from the other day. I think it should be Friday morning. I think Monday was the day where I had the drug mule outside my house. So, I have to make it clear to, that they think that I'm a nice, nice guy because I'm compassionate and I'll loan out a little bit of money like that. And I noticed the number that I'm getting called from is a different phone number, and it's the phone number to the guy who was supposedly collecting money to cover this other person's debt. So it's just, I've dealt with this. They should know that. They should know that I got experience with crack, and I already went through it with the relation, and watch them sink into that abyss and end up in jail over it. The details of which, of course, I can't tell you. They are sort of interesting. I can tell you that they got thrown in jail because, Yeah, well, see, you don't get high on your own supply. So the person that this person was a mule for, the drug kingpin guy, he had a habit. So he got this brilliant idea of getting some shoes, because he's allowed to have shoes, and smuggling in saw blades and crack and hollowed out tennis shoes. And so, he's going to escape in his drug-addled mind with the saw blades and, um, you know, get his fix at the same time. So the mule, who's a friend of mine, went along with this madness and got caught. I happened to be in the house when he was arrested. Cop knocks on the door and says, "Hello there," all cheerful and shit. Let's make up a name. Is Joe Johnson here? And I'm like, well, I'm in this sort of a situation. I can lie, possibly get in trouble over this, but this is going to happen sooner or later anyway. So, and he's standing there with a huge German Shepherd, like 100-pound black German Shepherd. And as soon as I said yes, he just pushed me out of the way. So I guess that's, I don't know, there was warrants out on him. And he got the worst wake up from a nap he ever had, because I watched him get up and sit on it. He was like, "Oh, Mr. Johnson, why don't you wake up there, sir?" He's just having fun, the cop. And I noticed that he had those people beating gloves on. And I talked about the Camp Police in the last video, but he had gloves on that looked like there's certain kind of gloves that are weighted. They didn't look legal to me. I mean, I don't know if cops are allowed to have them things or not, but I was like, I noticed them gloves, and I'm like, it's about 80 degrees outside, so that stuck out in my head. But he just pushed me out of the way, and that dog just came in there like it owned the place, and the person in question is like passed out on the sofa. It's like wakes him up. "Mr. Johnson, you need to sit up and talk to me for a minute," and the worst wake-up call in the history of man. And then took him out and handcuffed. And the neighborhood, it's one of those neighborhoods where, "Oh, the police are here, it's showtime, let's everybody go out and see what's going on, let's watch." And it's, cable TV is too expensive in those kind of neighborhoods. So, I watched him get carted away, and then I bailed him out of jail. And I remember later on, he gave credit to some church or somebody for bailing him out of jail. And usually, I do something like that, I'm not, like, I don't hold stuff like that over people's heads. Like, I did this for you, I did that for you, I did this for you. But I mean, he was giving credit for me placing hit for the bond that got placed to get him out of jail, bailing him out of jail. He gave credit to that to some stupid ass church, and instead of me, and I had to correct him on that and remind him. It's like that dude he's a genius level intelligence, but he just did too many drugs. And it just it fucked his mind up. I mean, crystal tea, I don't know what the hell that even is, but that's what it is. LSD, marijuana, of course, alcohol, whatever was available. And I still don't know what that dude was running from. I mean, his childhood was weird. I know that. I know that he stole a car when he was very young and took off from Ohio and got caught in Florida. I'm talking like when he was 14. But he was like genius level, literally genius IQ. I mean, literally. I'm not just saying that. It's like his IQ was measured, and I think it was like the Army had a giant hard-on for him, because they were like, wow, you know, this guy could be, you know, a lot more valuable than some schmuck like me if I had a healthy body that could, you know, just carry and shoot a rifle. This guy could read schematics and make plans, could maybe even taught how to create or defuse bombs, you know, that sort of thing. But he wasn't into it, you know. But he got tested by the army, and they were like, they really wanted him. His IQ was 153 on one test and closer to 160 on another. But he had some kind of issue that, you know, some kind of emotional issue that did him in. And so I watched all the crack stuff go down before, and I watched him end up in jail. I literally watched him I was in the house with him when he got arrested. And, you know, so, yeah, this person's going to telling me they're waiting across the street, you know. And, yeah, that's what they said on the answering machine message before I picked up the phone. It's like, well, I'm across the street, and I want to know if I can borrow $10 for cigarettes. And I'm looking at the number, and I'm like, this isn't even your number. This is the number of the guy that I just paid $10 to clean my house, and that was over on my house on Monday with the drug mule outside. So you get involved with that kind of nonsense, you can't believe anything. You know, because the way that the genius guy put it is he was like, you start on that stuff and it erodes your conscience and makes you cross lines that you never thought you'd ever cross. And but you know, once maybe they're getting it that I have a bad temper. She's like, I don't want nothing. Like when you're like this, I don't want nothing from you. I'm like, what's your deal? What's going on with you? Because I want to know. But she's like, well, I'm a little drunk. So sounded sober as hell. You know, trying to get some more money for Craig. Trying to get whatever out of me. They know I got that $20 limit, so they might ask for 10, and how about make it 20, or they might already have 10 from somebody else. Usually you need 20 to get rocked. You know, that's just standard. And I don't think it's changed much over the last 20 years either, which is odd. Because that's what that, you know, back in the 90s when I think I told you that story about it. I had a guy knock on my door while I was smoking weed and in a good mood. He was like, it was below 50 cents, but I think he literally said something like, excuse me, sir, do you have 15 cents? Because I'm short, I just need that much for a beer. Just like, thought it was funny as hell, and I had just happened to have a change bowl by the door, and I'm like, here you go, man. Was laughing about it. Took me 6 years to get rid of that dude. That dude was a crackhead. He was always trying to sell me the stupidest shit in the world. He's trying to sell me OJ shoes. And I asked him, I'm like, what are the odds that they're going to be the right size? And he's like, I'm like, those are a size 9. My feet are a size 12. And he's like, but they're good shoes, man. They're just, you know, they're Italian leather. They're Bruno Mali's, you know. It's like, he was thinking that I could buy them and sell them or buy them off him for cheap and then, you know, fence them or something like that. Like, you just get the fuck out of here. He used to knock on my door randomly. This is when I was really young. So I thought all this shit was funny. So, you know, I'd be minding my own business or jerking off or something at 2 and 3 in the morning, and I'd hear a knock on the door. The guy's name was Carl, and there would be Carl wanting to sell me some stupid shit. He sold me a sweeper once without the parts in it. And I was like, I just used to think that shit was funny. And then it wasn't so funny when he stole his wife's VCR back in his VCR days, and sold me that for 20 bucks. It was always 20 bucks for 20 bucks, and then his wife showed up, and I was like, I know I told you that one before. I was like, can you describe said VCR? And she said, I can describe said police that are going to show up here when I call them. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, and I went and got it. And she was like, I don't know why you want to mess around with him anyway. And I was like, thinking to myself, you're the one fucking him. You know? Yeah, I used to think that shit was funny when I was younger. You know, I was pretty, I'm sorry about turning my head away from the microphone, but that ear was really itchy. But I was pretty crazy in my 20s. I used to just think shit like that was funny. I mean, in my 20s is when I was going to cast, I hooked a rat in the park, and I was just going to cast it in the middle of a basketball game because I thought, you know what, nobody's ever done that before. Guarantee you in the history of the planet Earth, no one has ever caught a rat on a fishing rod, carried it over to a court full of people playing basketball, and casted it a live rat in the middle of a bunch of basketball players. I was like, I didn't care what would happen to me. I was like, I know I'm probably going to get the shit beat out of me, but it's just too funny not to do. Then I reared back the cast, and the rat flipped off the hook at the last second, saving me a hellacious ass beating from a pack of teenagers. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure people do not like live vermin hurled at them from the sky. This is a big old, and it looked like it escaped from a lab. It was like white and brown rat. It was just a weird giant rat that I caught with a fishing rod somehow. I just snagged it. It was just like snagged in a forepaw or whatever, foreleg or something. And I'm like, I didn't want to touch it. You know, I was like, I'm going to have to cut the line. But I saw him playing basketball. And I went, you know, it would be funny. But I was like that in my 20s. You know, I didn't give a. I found it amusing because the guy would be knocking on my door at 2 and 3 in the morning trying to sell me the stupidest shit in the world. Very, yeah, I was so not right in my 20s that there was like a period of time where, and so like independent about everything that, like I had a disconnect net notice on my phone, and I was like, well, I'll go pay the bill. And it was the last day for me to pay the bill. And I had to take money into the office, and I'm riding a bicycle, and there just happened to be, because it's me, there happened to be like gale force winds, like where I'm riding into them and I'm not getting anywhere. Talking like winds that are just like rolling trash cans down the street. I'm like, man, fuck this, I don't need a phone. So I I didn't even have a phone for like, I don't know how long, a long time. Anybody that wanted whenever I wanted to call somebody, that's when they started like pay phones. There was like a little pizza shop that I had to walk to in the neighborhood, and you know, put a quarter, or it was either a quarter or 50 cents, I don't remember how much, into the phone and call whoever I needed to call. And anybody that wanted to see me, they had to drop by and see me or write me a damn letter. Because, yeah, that's how I was in my 20s. I never talked much on here about how I was in my 20s. Wacky as hell. And instead of like asking anybody for help to do stuff, I would just like, fuck it, you know, I don't need no phone. Then like, that when I, it was actually just coincided with when I started writing, but I was like, I don't need no TV either. You know, there was an antenna that I could have got some channels in that I didn't even know about that was in the roof, in the ceiling. Could have got like local broadcast channels, but I was like, I don't need no TV, man. Fuck TV. So I just read books, and then started writing books. So I don't know. I just like, that's why I don't have a TV now. I just let my TV expire. I never really watch TV. I mean, I'm forced to now that I'm bedridden, but it's not my choice. But yeah, the 20s was a very weird time for me. The insanity of the stuff I used to do. Just the general insanity of the way I lived. And then, like, I got my mind right. You know, I figured out who I was, and that I was put on this earth to construct and build pyramids out of polysyllabic words and make delightful verbal nonsense. That is what I was meant to do. And just like, you know, without the slaves and the whips and the Jews, just building them pyramids, you know, myself, slave driving myself into writing. But like right now, I feel horrible because I got really angry again. You know, I answered the phone with like, "What the fuck do you want?" You know, I know what you want. You won't admit it. And they're like, "Nothing now. If you're gonna swear at me." Was gonna borrow like $10 for cigarettes, but I don't want nothing from you if you're gonna be like this. You know, and I'm glad, but now I gotta put up with it. My heart's acting weird. And it's like these are supposed to be my people. You know, and it's like I should move to Arizona. I should move and get the hell out of this city and get away from my family. I only, you know, um, I don't I don't get along with like, well, definitely the people in there are lost cause as far as me getting along with them. You got the boat guy, you got these people here now that got substance problems, and I feel bad for my aunt and all, but I was always nice to her, and having that foul, evil blood flowing through her veins, same as me. Um, I don't know. You see, like I had a good mom, you know, that balanced that out. That taught me a different way to be. You know, not necessarily a good way to be, but a different way to be, rather than just being violent and foolishly selfish and self-serving. You know, like these people know. I've told them 1,000 times, man. If you upset me, you make me sick. Literally make me physically ill, and they don't care about themselves. You know, same as my sister. You know, same as other people. Just don't get it. I don't know if I got that spider or bug or whatever it was, but it was fast. I don't know. It's not gonna help me sleep. It was too big to be a brown recluse, and those are the only ones you gotta worry about. And it wasn't shaped like a black widow, so you know, even if I get bit by it, it won't be no big deal. What people don't know, there's other spiders that are semi-venomous. That the wolf spider, for instance, can make you sick if you get bit by that wolf spider. But I've only seen one of those. I was actually sunbathing nude in Georgia, and laying on the blanket. You want to talk about a Little Miss Muffin incident? There's a big, I mean, they're big. Wolf spiders are like, I mean, they're big. It was sitting beside my shoulders there, and it's like anytime you can see a spider's eyes and count them, it's a big spider. So I jump up, uh, twigs and berries swinging in the breeze, or twig and berries swinging in the breeze, and you know, it was out in a stick somewhere, you know, so I had privacy, so I did some naked sunbathing, and that spider decided to come and check me out. Fucking gay spider anyway, should have left me alone. Um, but it was funny later on, it's like, there was a house like way off in the distance, and there was an old woman there, and she said, or my brother who I was going down there to visit introduced me to her, and she said, "Oh yeah, I've seen you before." And there was a moment of terror there, you know. But then she said, "Yeah, you're the guy that was doing all that weightlifting on the porch and stuff. I watched you." And she did weightlifting, funny old lady weightlifting motions. And I'm like, I thought she was gonna say, "Yeah, I've seen you before." I mean, I really saw you before, but that was his only neighbor, and yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't be awake, and now this is gonna fuck up my whole schedule. I got a gabapentin in me. I have a Valium in me. I was starting to yawn and get sleepy, and then this person's blowing up my phone 3 times that should be going in to get counseling and help, you know, and that I offered to go in to get counseling and help, and you know they went the other way. You know, there's lots of times in life you got that fork in the road. You can be strong by being weak and ask for help, or you continue to run and hide with the substances, and she chose to run and hide. So, but I ain't gonna be no part of it. If I have to be a mean bastard, man, I can be a mean and cold bastard. It's like, if you're gonna make me be like that, not only can I be a mean, cold bastard, but if I'm healthy, and we already know what I can be like. So, this is just sad. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning now, and I'm nowhere near sleepy. I'm angry and sick to my stomach from it. And, yeah. I can't even leave this place and get away from these people because I got that bad leg. I can't get rid, you know, can't. I'm stuck in this fucking 15 by 10 room because of the noise upstairs. You know, I mean, what am I gonna do? I can't go around breaking bad with everybody, and like just to make my circumstances livable. You know, I can't go all alpha male in the state that I'm in. And, you know, and I just want to be left alone. I don't want to be in that role of the guy, you know, guy that's like, look, this is how it's going to be, you know. So, I'm thirsty. I think I might have water somewhere. I can't reach. Well, I can reach it. Got a stick of gum or something. Yeah, somebody that, I'll just call this individual JJ, wrote me from way back in the day when I first started making these videos, and made an unnecessary apology, just in case they decide to watch this. It's like, you don't need to make any apologies for being and saying some messed up stuff in benzo despair. And, you know, just that I can't put up with nonsense like that. You know, I can't. Because of my physical condition, it makes me ill. I mean, he messes with my heart. Like, I get as angry as I was on Monday, where I was, like, murderously angry. He even messes with my heart, and I have to lay down and take Valium and a blood pressure pill. And, you know, it's not, that's why I tell people it's not good for anybody to get me angry. It's not going to be good for you, and it sure as hell ain't going to be good for me. So yeah, that person, she was there on Machete Day, so she was like, if you're going to swear at me, I don't want nothing from you. I'm like, well, I mean, what's going on with you? What's your deal? You know, I was wanting to just be honest like they were before. They're like, I don't have no deal. I don't want no, you're going to swear at me, I don't want nothing from you. I don't want nothing. And they're like, you know, I was like, okay. Click. And, yeah. So what do I do now? Bore you? So it's 3:18 in the morning. And, I got half a brain due to fatigue, because I'm usually about 6 hours into sleep by now, or maybe 5, and I don't have the wit of a freaking titmouse. So that's bug woke me up a little bit. It's not like anything significant happened, you know, since the last time you saw my smiling face, or scowling face, as the case may be. I did watch the blood video again, I found it entertaining. But I was like, wow, I left a lot of stuff out there. Like, I'm always like, yeah, always, it's not a perfectionism thing. It's like you can't, when you tell a story, you can't tell everything. Not just because it's the internet, but you can't tell everything. Just because everything is connected. But you have to, instead of like going from this tree to that tree to that tree, you have to go move forward in an orderly fashion. And you can't stop and investigate every little thing. But there was some interesting stuff that I missed there. Oh yeah, one thing I can tell you is one of my hands going numb. I don't know what that's about. But one of the interesting things about my cop friend is his dad was a funny guy and was vulgar as hell. And he served in World War II and in the Japanese theater. And he would never talk about the war in any kind of a serious way, because the horror of it. But he was a funny dude. And one day he says to me, "The day that I knew everything was going to be all right with my son is when he shot somebody." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I was always, he's always just a nice guy and stuff. He wanted to be a cop, and I was never into him being a cop. So I'm like, he's just too nice." And then, he shot somebody, and I was like, "Good. Now I know he's going to be okay. He's going to do what's necessary if he has to." And he didn't kill the guy when he shot him, but he did shoot him. And just a funny thing. And to clarify, I told a story on here about my brother shooting somebody in the leg. In that conversation I had, and it's worth running through again. Where let's see if I can do this right. I'm a kid. We go to this mud hole place to fish with a bunch of gutter kids, and all of them seem to have guns. And they were always like shooting at our bobbers and stuff. And they have 22s, and the bullets would skip off the water and past us. And my one cousin had a bullet whiz by his head, and he was still shaking when he got home because he come close to getting shot in the head. And so naturally, I don't know, I was maybe 12 years old. I go up to my brother and I'm like, "Can I borrow your gun?" And he goes, "What?" I'm like, "Can I borrow your gun? Because we go down to this, we call this place 4th Street. He says, we go down to 4th Street to fish, man. These kids are always shooting at us, and I'd like to be able to shoot back." He goes, "Are you crazy? I'm not going to give you my gun to shoot at people." And then, like, man, no less than, or no more than 2 years later, I'm talking to him, and he just randomly says, "I shot somebody once." I'm like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, I shot somebody once." I said, "Why'd you shoot somebody?" He said, "Well, they were stealing a bike." I'm like, "They were stealing your bike?" He goes, "No, it wasn't my bike." I'm like, "Wait a minute. Whose bike was it?" He says, "No, it was parked outside the palms, and I was hunting in the woods behind the palms. And I came out and saw somebody stealing somebody's motorcycle, so I just shot him." I was like, "You shot him?" And he goes like, "Just in the leg." I've told that before, but yeah, that was outside the palms, the uh, outlaw bar that I was talking about. That like you had no protection from the law when you went. That's what outlaw means. Is like you're outside the law. The law can't protect you. Anybody can kill you. Like when you become an outlaw, that's what that means. That doesn't mean that you're a lawbreaker. That means that you're outside the protection of the law. So anybody that walked in the palms was outside the protection of the law. So you couldn't call it an outlaw bar or a no man's land. If you want to talk army, that's scary that my hands numb. And my left hand's numb when I got heart trouble. Um, but yeah, my family's just determined to kill me. It's like, if you're gonna kill me, why don't you just fucking shoot me? Like my brother shot that guy outside the bar. Except for aim a little higher. Why do you gotta kill me slowly and painfully like this? But that's family for you. They never seem to do stuff in an orderly fashion. Um, but yeah, um, I never liked guns. Never into guns. I carried knives, but I was never into guns. I mean, I carried knives just because that's what you did. Took knives to school, you know. Um, yeah, there's someone I can tell you some other stories and stuff, but I don't want to expose myself. I mean, my physical self. My hand is freaking numb as fuck. It's freaking me out. I don't know why. I don't like that. And maybe you get to see something interesting of somebody having a heart attack on a camera. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I don't have any tingling or pain coming down, but anything that goes on the left side. There's some tingling going up from the arm, but I don't know why my hand feels like that. It's weird. I've got 325 now. But as you know, I can talk with varying degrees of eloquence and entertainment value for days, if necessary. Come on, man. Straighten the fuck up, man. Hmm. That's about. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like my schedule being disrupted. That's what pisses me off. Person keeps ringing my phone when I'm like I can tell when I start to get sleepy because my eyes water. Fuck. What to make of that? God damn it. Alright, think peaceful thoughts. It's no big deal. Just lay my arm down straight. Fuck. I wasn't planning on making something like this. But yeah, I gotta put my foot down when it comes to this crack nonsense. Not let it seep into my life in any way, shape, or form. And the $20 limit on loaning people might become zero if it's getting spent on illegal substances. And if it's getting spent on crack, I should say more specifically. And I got drug mules. They kind of like, your drug mule on TV. He's the guy that he drives the car. You just have a movie like that with Clint Eastwood in it, but he's the guy that drives the car with the huge amount of heroin stashed in it and stuff. But in the real world, a drug mule is just, there's a guy that has the supply, and he's just a runner. And a lot of times, the drug mules are addicts themselves, and how they support their habit, and that's what this unfortunate person did to the genius guy. Or that's the unfortunate circumstance that happened with the genius guy is, he got hooked on the stuff and then got maintained his supply by hooking people up. I was in a car with him and this person that was named B. Whether that was her street name or her actual name, who knows. But they were firing up crack bowls. She offered me some, and I'm like, I don't do that stuff. And I forget why I was in the car with him even. We started laughing to herself. She said, that's a shame, because you could have had yourself a master blast. And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? And I asked around, and I guess it means like, you both get high, and then I guess she was offering me a blowjob. You both get high, and then when your high peaks and your heart's thumping, you get the most sexual excitement out of it, maybe, or something. I don't know. I don't do that stuff. But it's like Master Blaster. That's the guy in Mad Max 3 with the midget on his the master. master was the midget on the guy's shoulder, and the blaster was the big dumb guy that was toting him around, the master blaster. But that's what she said. That's a shame. You could have had yourself a master blaster. And then she started laughing to herself. And I guess she thought, well, I was fairly handsome back then. And I was like, I had no idea what she was talking about until I asked around. That happens sometimes when I hear street lingo and I got no idea what it means. And I ask around. I'm like, okay, oh, that's what that means. You know. But could have used plain English. She just offered me a blowjob like a normal person. And it's like she still could have blew me. You know, I didn't necessarily. I hear that people actually enjoy that stuff sober, but I don't know. I guess maybe that's a crack thing. Like, that's just something. I mean, I talked to a person that was a meth addict, and I said, you know, they're a very frank person, and I'm like, well, what's it like? You know, it's like, what does it do for you? And it's like, well, it blows up the pleasure centers of your brain. You either got to fuck somebody or you got to jerk off. I mean, that's his experience of it. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And pot used to do that for me, like in a similar way. It would, you know, I remember like this is not a good story at all to tell, but it's an appropriate story for 3:30 in the morning when your arms tingling and you're feeling like you're gonna have a heart attack. Um, like I got high with somebody I was related to somewhat distantly, but it was still a relative. But they were both dressed to kill, and I remember there was her, and they were going out. I think they're going out to get laid or whatever. But they stopped over and they went and dropped me off a bag of weed, I guess as a courtesy or something like that. And they were like, "You want to smoke with us?" And I said, "It'd be rude for me not to." But I was already conditioned at that point. Like that's what I used weed for. I mean, I wasn't like, let's get high and joke and laugh around or go fishing or stuff like that. I just used weed to enhance sexual pleasure. So my body is conditioned or was conditioned already. Don't know what year this was to respond in that fashion. I just didn't do it that often back then. You know, I didn't have it around a lot. But it just was I don't know if I was buying it or they just dropped me off a bag of weed and was just giving me some or what, but it would have been rude to refuse. But I'm looking at tits and ass on like 20-year-old girls, and like the one of them had I actually knew the size, 44 double D tits in my face and stuff like that. And I'm just trying not to get sexually aroused. And I'm like, this is all so wrong, you know, because I'm related to the one person, and I can't look at her, so I'm looking at the other one, but the other one's got cleavage showing all the way down to South America, and it's I'm not really a breast man, but it's still just big tiny tits in your face, you know. And they're like they had skirts on, or like I said, they were dressed to go out and get laid or something. Man, they were dressed to kill. And anyway, so I don't know if that's just what all drugs do. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big drug guy, so I mean, all of those illegal substances do, because certainly Xanax, benzos don't have that kind of, they have the opposite effect, man. They're more like saltpeter. I mean, take away my libido. But yeah, you know, the guy was telling me that meth, that's what I asked him. That's what he said, word for word. He said, you either got to fuck somebody or you have to jack off. You know, this dude, you know, I was like, yeah, he was on spiking and everything else. And I hope he's sober now. I saw him a while ago, and he said that he had sobered up. He had fallen off the wagon, and then he sobered back up. But he's another real bright dude. And that's the thing about, like, it doesn't matter how bright you are or what kind of talents you have. If you don't have your head on screwed on straight, you know, you're not emotionally right, and you start messing around and running from whatever it is that's haunting you. ghosts. You become like a haunted house. And those ghosts pick up residents and they don't want to be exorcised. They don't. I wish I could do imitations, or I'd do the, this house is clean. You know, and lots of times, man, it takes a lot to get those uh, foul spirits out of you. I don't like that whole demon thing because, you know, people take that stuff a little bit too seriously about that with the religious symbolism. They actually think there's like demons and spooks and stuff like that. And Carl Jung said all that stuff just comes from inside us, and it's sort of what I believe. It's like you can create that stuff inside you by behavior, by your behavior. And I don't know about that whole rap I had about inheriting a bad temper. I think it's just I'm really an environment over heredity guy. I think we're tabula rasa, or whatever that phrase is. It means blank slate when we're born. And the thing of it is like the personalities that we have, they get formed so early and so quickly that you really can't help who you are, your tendencies. It's like I was always going to be a violent son of a bitch and have that in me just because of the way I grew up. And man, my heart is messing with me. Yeah, I just feel weird. I don't like this. And like I just got to banish my family. Just not answer the phone. I mean, my brother is irritating the hell out of me. That, you know, love my brother, but he's super self-absorbed and got issues. He's the guy that's like anti-drug, man. He won't take nothing. But it's like sometimes you need something to help you. If, you know, he got treated like way worse than I did, and it affected him in a way worse way than it did me. And you know, he's the guy that got the anxiety problems. I shouldn't even be bringing that up. It's like a betrayal, I guess. But I don't care at this point. I mean, you don't watch, you know, he's not going to be watching this anyway. But it is difficult as hell. You know, it's because this person that like did this to me tonight. It's like I still feel pity and sympathy for him. But you know, like the Apaches say, man, that's just weakness. You know, it's a predatory sort of world, and if I showed any weakness, like, oh, you know, I'll help you out, here's some more money, you know, I didn't get like nasty, like, you know, you think I'm a goddamn idiot that I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna throw you guys all my money. Now my voice is gone from not sleeping. It would be nice to have help, have all these problems, and have actual help from friends and family. Not having them file your boat sales and mistreat your property, break promises, have drug mules parked outside your house, and you know, have them abandon you. But I sound like a whiny little bitch, don't I? I sound terrible, but it's just the truth. I'm whining about it. You know, it's just the truth. People are always funny like that, you know, they're like, you know what the difference between an excuse or whining and the truth is? Which side of the fence you're sitting on. Because, you know, it's like, Think of that old time basketball player, Larry Bird. He used to get all tore up, but he would never complain. You know, he'd be all racked up. He would never complain about it because he never wanted anybody to think he was making any excuses for losing or for his bad play. But the truth of the matter is like, if you know anything about him, it's like he was playing just with a torn up body. And but he never said, you know, like, well, I'm not 100%. You know, it's like, yeah, there's his pain tolerance was like legendary. But people always think about like when people are saying stuff like, "Ooh, what was me? What was me?" That you're being whiny or it's an excuse or whatever. But the truth is the truth. I mean, yeah, it's the truth that it's 3:40 in the morning and my schedule is currently ruined by some dumbass person that won't get themselves help. It's like if you want to die, if you want to commit suicide, just fucking do it. And don't play, you know, don't like dance around it. You know, it's like they got a bunch of health problems and they're playing around with crack and spiking their blood pressure and stuff. It's like, you know, if you're gonna commit suicide, just do it. Just what are you hanging around for? You know, or if you want to choose life or choose death. If you want to live, if you think you're salvageable, you know, go get yourself some help and you know, try to overcome whatever self-hatred you have or whatever emotional damage you have and find a way to live with yourself. Or, you know, take a whole bunch of crack, take a whole bunch of heroin. You know, I got my exit strategy. It has to be, unfortunately, in the form of chemicals, which is not my choice. My choice, you know, I think that's pretty foolproof. But um, yeah, I did a little research and did a little manipulation, and I have like I told somebody I have enough of this stuff here, and it's not a benzo to kill two people and a horse. Because I had, you know, I confronted somebody else about their situation. I'm like, listen, um, if you really, you know, because they were like doing the woe is me thing. They were like, I just want to crawl on the rock and die. And I'm like, well, if you feel about that, maybe you should. You know, I said maybe that'd be the best thing for you if you don't want to help yourself. You know, if you just want to be miserable. And it's like, if you want, I can help you. I got enough stuff here to kill two people and a horse. And so I'm saving it for me. There's enough to go around. But yeah, I just don't understand people. I don't understand, like, why, if you can help yourself, you know, why do you want to be miserable? Now, if they're already in a state of, like, severe crack addiction, they're going to need, like, professional help. That's the whole point of addiction is, like, um, you need help to get past that. That's why they have AA and stuff like that. You know, with this physical dependence thing that I developed with benzos, I didn't really need any help to get over it or to quit taking Xanax. If you know my story, you know that every fucking thing in the world seems to go wrong with me. So, and like I got no help. I get people yelling at me. You know, like I get abandonment. I get people abusing my property, taking money out of my pocket, blowing a sale that could have got made me a little more financially comfortable with my boat, trashing my boat. You know, if you get that one time I had an important appointment, my brother just like starts like a stupid fucking argument with me when he knows like in less than 10 hours I have to go and get a radioactive isotope injected in me and have this test that takes forever. Turned out to be like as bad as I thought it would be. And, you know, he's fucking with me on the phone, getting me emotionally upset. It's like, so, you know, but once you're into that addiction thing, like with cigarettes, I would need help. If I gotta hermit up if I don't want to smoke. Like, I'm helpless when it comes to tobacco. There's a dude here, and God only knows where his mouth has been. But um, I smoked 2 cigarettes. He smoked 2 cigarettes. He only had 4. He got it picked up my house for $10. I told me a lighter, and I picked up his butt out of the. I smoked his butt. that's a pretty apt phrase because I don't know where that mouth has been. And then, like, it was kind of funny that I went to the Coleman place to see my psychiatrist, and I always have horrible smoking jones whenever I go to the doctor or a psychiatrist or whatever. And anytime I come out of some medical type appointment, that's when it's the worst for me. That's when I want a cigarette. I used to come out when I used to go to the heart doctor. I used to come out from Dr. Lababeat, this little funny little Indian dude's place, and I'd light up in the parking lot. I didn't even care if they saw me out the window lighting up smoking. But so I go into this Coleman place, you know, and I'm like, God damn, man, it's like a whole cigarette there, you know. I pick it up, and I start talking to this guy, and we're talking about substance abuse and addiction, and, you know, why we're both there at the Coleman place, why we're waiting to see our counselors or psychiatry people. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really addicted to benzos thing. I'm addicted to smoking, though, because, like, I'm so bad that I walked in here and I picked up a cigarette that there was, like, it's a good one, though, because it's only like 3/4 smoke. He looked at me and he said, was it a Marlboro? And I said, yeah, it was. I pulled it out of my pocket and he said, that was mine. He said, I had a couple puffs before I come in here and I just threw it down in front of the building. He said, you picked up my cigarette. And I was thinking, I don't know where this guy's mouth has been either. I used to do that shit all the time, man. Like, pick up cigarettes off the road. Oh, I was like nuts in my 20s, so I didn't care. I would be walking through like a crack core central, and, you know, the cigarette I'm smoking could have been in the mouth of somebody smoking a dick like 15 minutes before it was discarded. I didn't care. I know that's nasty, but it's the truth. Um, yeah. When am I going to get sleepy again? I don't know. I missed my window, as Kramer said once about his intestinal workings. I missed my window for sleep and then got all upset. My hand doesn't seem to be tingling as much, and my heart seems to be okay. I think it's just like a scare or like a benzo-induced anxiety type of thing. I don't know what that was about. Seems okay. I don't know. I do have I just have arrhythmia. I've never had a heart attack, but due to my inactivity and perhaps my diet, you know, and my age and stuff, I might be entering heart attack country. Who knows? That's a whole nother deal than arrhythmia, man. Heart attacks, as Richard Pryor would tell you, you can't breathe. It's like somebody just saying, stop breathing, motherfucker. You know, it feels like somebody grabbing your chest and squeezing it like a strong man. And that's how my dad was. My dad pulled teeth out of his own head. So yeah, and he described a heart attack as painful. So, you know, I told you that before, that he went in the bathroom. I didn't even hear any noise, which was the part that freaked me out. But he went in the bathroom with a pair of pliers. I didn't see him go in, but I seen him come out, and he had a pair of pliers and a rag, and he's like, you know what, teeth have long roots on them. And he opened up the rag, and he had pulled out his own tooth with a pair of pliers. And he looked like he did it sober. Like, a little bit afraid of my dad, just a little bit. But having that, that's maybe the first time that I discovered that I had a volatile, insane temper. It's, when I knew that my dad was not well emotionally, and had killed people and hospitalized people and all of that. And then, you know, I lost my temper with him because he was being mean to my brother. I told that story before. And that's probably when I first discovered that, hey, there's another Steve in there that's like crazy, don't give a fuck violent. That's when I was like, my sister had my nephew as a baby in her arms, and her dumb ass, because she was never the brightest person in the world in situations like that. And she's trying to break us up. I'm like, you stay out of this. I just want to like, in my mind, I was just ushering her out of the way. But in reality, you know, not being a small or weak individual, I threw her and her baby, and she landed cleanly into a chair. Imagine how that could have come out if that chair wasn't there. That would have been a fun thing for me to live with, huh? If she hit the wall or baby got hurt or worse. That's when I realized that I got a temper that's not like, that's dangerous. It's literally dangerous. It's not anything to be proud of. It's something to be afraid of. And that's when I realized it, and it was probably my dad's fault because I had to put up with this bullshit for so long that, you know, with all that repression. That's probably where that came from. It has probably nothing to do with his foul blood coursing through my veins, which I think is the actual phrase from that movie that I quoted in the other video. You know, we both have our father's foul blood coursing through our veins, don't you? And I think he said foul instead of evil. Or vile. I don't remember. I have to see it again. I don't know. I don't know. Evil, I like evil better, so, you know, I have that. That's why I can't read audiobooks very well. So I'm like, I like evil better, so I'll just throw that in there. But, oh man. So this is another hour of your time you spent listening to a slightly deranged individual talk about his ill-gotten luck, spitting out pieces of his broken luck. Oh, Aqualung. Yeah. Yeah, but that, I guess I'm just going to talk to that person, you know, if they call me again or if I run into them again and be like, look, here's the deal. The only thing I want to hear from you is I need help. I'm like, I don't want to hear, or maybe just like, here's 20 bucks, you know, go get loaded. It's the last money you're going to get out of me. Keep it. But the next word, I don't want to hear no more words out of you or anything to do with you unless I hear those words. I want you to help me, or I want help, and we can go into a place that can help you. I'll go in there with you. I don't know how to play that. I don't know why I have to even do this shit while I've got my own problems. Why I can't be just like, you know, fuck everybody. You know, let everything go to hell. I mean, I've tried to be a caretaker person, Sigma male, so to speak. Is a phrase people like to use nowadays, I think. When it seems like I've done a very poor job of it, I feel like a failure as a brother and as a, you know, I mean, I'm complaining about my family, but apparently I'm not very good for them because, you know, they're a mess. Like, I've always tried to look out for them in every way I could. And I mean, I can't George Bailey it and just like disappear and, you know, then they're really like way worse off without me. Or I could do the Al Bundy version for Married with Children when they did It's a Wonderful Life. And he Al Bundy um, had the George Bailey experience, except everybody was better off without him. And the opposite of It's a Wonderful Life, where everybody was suffering, and the guy saw his positive impact, and Al Bundy saw his negative impact, and he's like, I want to come back and make their lives miserable. I mean, I don't know what, um, how can you even figure that, what sort of impact you have on people? I think really my whole life I've just been too nice, that I should be more evil and more like alpha, more like, um, you know, confrontational, but I'm afraid of that temper. And I'm afraid of what I might do. You know, that like for instance with that boat thing and that guy breaking them promises, that I should have just instead of like calmly, spelling it out for him, just like not laid hands on him, but just been like let myself loose a little bit verbally. I spelled it out for him and said that you abandoned us in a bad situation. And he had said, I don't have any defense for it. And then so, I told him you're not my friend anymore, but I can still have dealings with him. Because, as long as somebody admits to doing something, they admit to reality to me, I'm like, okay. But that's the problem I have with my sister, is she won't admit the reality of the situation for whatever reason. I think the reason is that, she just wants to ditch me and doesn't want to suffer. Well, either that or just pride or fear or some other emotional nonsense or whatever. I don't know. She don't talk to me, so I don't know. I made a couple of attempts at communication with her, and she was just wanting to minimize the thing like it was no big deal and act like our father, who she hated for pretending that that was his thing. It's like some bad thing would happen, and he would just pretend like it never happened. And now some bad thing happened between us, and she wants to minimize it like it was no big deal. But if she would acknowledge it as a reality, then I could get past it, and we could have some sort of relationship. But now I think it's kind of too late. It's been a year and a half, and I think it's just too late. And I think that's just I know it'll never be the same between us. I mean, we might reach a point where we could talk to each other. That's about it. But, I'll never trust her again. And she caused me so much pain and grief when she could have solved it so easily. I mean, when I hung up on her, I don't know what the rest of the sentence was, or if that was the end of the sentence, but the last word she said to me is, I don't care. Because she called me after what she did to me on the phone, and was like, we're stopping by, and we're going, I'm going, or no, I think she said I dropped off some yogurt and something else, and I hung it on your doorknob. And I'm like, I don't want yogurt and whatever's in that bag. I said, I'm throwing it out the fucking door. And she said, I don't care what you do with it. I think that's what she said. But I think that's probably what she was going to say, but I just heard I don't care, and I just hung up the phone on her. Because I didn't want it to get any worse than it already was. And I literally took the bag of groceries, and I threw them outside. But the hood people were here at the time, so they had a shopping cart on the porch. So I just threw the yogurt and stuff out in that shopping cart. Because I was like, I don't want nothing from you. Like, I don't want nothing from you. So I'm going to take that stuff and I'm going to throw it outside. It's like, you're going to fix that with some yogurts? Whatever. Oh my God. So, yeah. Yeah. That's a shame. That's a real shame, though. We used to be real close. And I thought I knew her, but, that's the thing. It's like, if she ever calls me, I'm like, who am I talking to? I would literally say that to her. I'm like, I said, we don't really know each other. Like, I don't really know you. So there's really no point for us to talk. um, just because we're related and we, interacted with each other for all of our lives. You're not. If I knew you, you know, I would never have cried on your shoulder. The last time I cried by myself was 25 years before that. The last time you saw me cry was 29 years. I picked you out as the person to on whose shoulder to cry on, and you treat me like shit. And it's like, I don't really know you. So, we're strangers. Why do my mama told me not to talk to strangers, so it'll probably go down like that. And she taught me how to hate. You may not believe it, especially if, you stumbled upon my therapy video that's on here under another account. But I don't have any hatred for my father, because my father was treated like a piece of human garbage and just mistreated and abused and worked like a farm animal. And he was like much better than his brothers were. His brothers starved his children, beat his children, beat them and mistreated them, and way worse than anything he ever did to us. He was like trying to be a good person. He just couldn't quite manage it. So I don't really hate him. He screwed me over about as bad as you can screw a person over. It was just a horrible coincidence. But I don't have any hatred for him. I have pity for him. But my sister, she taught me how to hate. And, she taught me where the impulse to murder comes from when it's not that hot-blooded anger type of stuff. Because I felt so much hatred and anger toward her. I was like, well, this is why people murder people. It's because you feel that it's just so awful to feel that way, and you have no way to express it. And, words just don't cut it. You want to kill someone, you want to choke someone, you want to do something bad like that because they hurt you that bad, and you have all that hatred and anger and resentment inside you, and it just has to go somewhere. It has to be expressed in some way. So she taught me something interesting, because I never really understood hate before. I understood violence. I've always had violence in me, but I never understood true hatred, and the kind of hatred that could make somebody lie in wait and kill someone cold-bloodedly, which I would never do. I'm just saying I understood why that happens with some people when there's no profit motive. Is because it comes from having all those emotions in you and having no way to express them. And it hurts so bad, and you're in so much pain. And it's just so awful feeling that way. Feeling all that betrayal and hatred and resentment and anger. Is this kind of thing fun to listen to? I mean, I don't know. Nobody has to listen to or watch anything on the internet. It's the way I figure it. And, yeah. But, I don't know. I just kind of look at things from, I'm so alienated that I can laugh about being awake at 4 o'clock in the morning and having, people that are supposed to be my friends get me involved with the crack trade, which I worked so hard to get the meth trade out of here. I could even laugh at it looking at it from the outside about how I managed to get rid of the cookhouse, and then the leftover meth people end up squatting here, and as torturous and horrible as that is, it was kind of funny that it worked out that way. And then they had a wood pile, I figured out the wood pile thing finally. They're making a wood pile for the meth house, because the meth house is just an abandoned building with no power in it or anything, no heat. So that's what the wood pile was about. They were building the wood pile over here and leaving it on this property, and then walking it off across the street when they needed to build a fire in there. And I was like, oh, that's what that's about. And I remember one day, and it's funny that it's a vague memory, but I'm sitting in my house, and it's daytime, and I'm like, it's not bright out. It's not sunny, but like this massive fog seems to have suddenly rolled in, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? That's the weirdest thing I've seen. And then I look, and like all this smoke is coming out the second story window of the meth cookhouse. And I'm like, you know, I was going to call the fire department or the police about it, but then like there was people standing in the street watching it. And I'm like, well, one of those people got a cell phone, you know, they'll call the fire department. Nobody called the fire department about it. I didn't understand that. That was just weird. Maybe there was some threats made in the neighborhood that I don't know about. I mean, I don't know. I don't interact with my neighbors heavily, so I don't know. But that's what that wood pile was about, I guarantee you. Because I'm like, why are these people that are squatting up there that, or not, this was before they were squatting. This is when the cookhouse was active. Like, why are they building a wood pile? You know, I'd see somebody with a red wagon, and it would be full of wood. And it'd be this hot 17, 18-year-old girl. And I'm like, she'd be walking down the road with a wagon load of wood, and like, I'd watch her, and then she'd come and drop it off over there. And that's the wood pile that I was picking through the other day, making room for my boat. That's the only thing left from the meth trade last summer is that wood pile. And it's like, well, there's, you know, well, it used to freak me out. You know, finally, my dumb ass, because I'm not a genius, finally figured it out. It's like, okay, they didn't have any heat over there. Maybe they needed it. Maybe they were making something, or they made some kind of crude, like out of bricks, you know, fire wall, like fireplace type thing. And we're burning it in there. And I don't know where the smoke would go, though. And maybe it had a chimney or something. I don't know. I don't know, man. I know this video needs to end. And I doubt. I did like the blood one. I thought that one was entertaining. It's interesting to get that window into, you know, because you hear all this stuff about police this and police that, and you get all these stories where it's like people complaining about police brutality and stuff. And it reminds me of like people crying racism because someone doesn't like you. And there's like real police brutality, like back when I'm talking about in the 70s, where a guy's jumping up and down somebody's neck. And there's real racism where, you know, a guy can't get a job because of the color of his skin. And then, like, this is a funny story, which I'll end on this, is I'm sitting here, it's an afternoon, another boring afternoon. This is before there was a bunch of noise upstairs, so I'm like just watching out the window, and I see like one cop walking down the street with a gun, and then I see two more cops walking down the street. They're walking in formation, like a flock of geese, and then there's one guy in the back walking with a shotgun. And I'm like, oh Lord, something's gonna happen. I hope they don't come here. But they went to this house across the street, and it was actually the meth cookhouse before it got abandoned. And so there's like the hood people all lined up on the porch, and they're all people of color. And these are all white cops, and they're like, I watched, and I'm like, you know, maybe I should crouch down because I'm at the policeman's back, and they all got guns, and they're expecting trouble, you know. It's like they probably got a call, and somebody said, you know, this guy's acting crazy, and there's guns in the house, so any gunfire is going to be coming towards me. And I'm kind of like on the policeman's side, whether I want to be or not, because they got their backs to me and they got their guns pointed at this house, you know. They're like, They didn't even knock on the door or anything. They just called from outside, and they were like, come out, want to see your hands, you know, and they had like bulletproof gear on, of course, and everything. This white guy comes out, you know, and they're like, lay down on the ground. He's completely cooperative and everything. And it all went really smoothly. And then this woman that I used to call Cart Woman, right, she had a really nice mobility scooter, and she weighed like a ridiculous amount. You know, she was like, had me 350. And I think that was her disability, was being fat. And she comes riding around the corner, right? And she's like, man, I almost got my head blown off by a cop with a shotgun. She was making drama. And I'm like, it was pretty much already over when you got here, but she's just talking shit with all the other people on the porch. And then she yells at the cops, Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, I don't really understand, but all the people that are out there, the guy being arrested, the woman in the house that called the police, and all the cops are white. She made up this nonsense about she arrived late on the scene when it was already over. The guy was already when she arrived, the guy was already getting thrown into a van, handcuffed. And she was like, I almost got my head blown off by a shotgun. And she was like, Black Lives Matter. Anyways, I found that hilarious. Um, it was like, those cops just looked at her like she was a Martian. Like, what are you even talking about? There's no black people involved in any of this. I mean, there was black people on the porch, and they were just, you know, I call them hood people just because of the way they behave. You know, like I really honestly don't see color, but you know, you're telling a story. It seems to be a social construct that's important to people. So what the fuck ever, I got to go with the flow. So they're all watching this, you know, and they don't got nothing to say. They're watching it like entertainment, you know, and they don't got no fear, you know. When this woman rides up on this cart and just says that, man, it's like the other people on the porch didn't laugh. But I will tell you one thing. That woman that I kind of liked, she screwed me over and she caused me a lot of grief. She's an alcoholic, but her name was Bootsy. But I kind of liked her. She was my favorite of the hood people. She's funny as hell. But she like what she is black or whatever the word is they use now for people that are of darker hue than me. And these other people that lived in the building came walking by, and they were acting a certain way. And she looked at me and she shook her head and she said, niggas be niggas. And I'm like, hey, you said it, not me. You're allowed to say that stuff. I'm not allowed to say that stuff. And that's what she said to me. I laughed my ass off at that. She's like, niggas be niggas. In other words, they ain't never gonna change. And they used to stand out in the middle of the yard and, you know, hey, Tommy, Tommy, and just yell. And just be people yelling. You know, it's like, go up and knock. You could go up and knock on the door. I mean, you could call on a cell phone. You don't gotta make me jump in my own house by yelling when I have the window open. You just hear somebody yelling suddenly. They used to do that all the time. But shit, they were great neighbors in a lot of ways compared to some of the nonsense that I've had to put up with. Because I went from the hood people, you know, because my landlord's theory was, well, we'll get some older people in there, you know, because we had, this was after the crack dealers, so he was like, all right, we'll get some older people in there, you know, so he gets older people, but they're hood people, and all the people that they know are trouble. You know, I only saw one arrest made, and they were carrying out tubs of like stolen merchandise, and two guys were let out of here in handcuffs. and got thrown in jail. But they were mostly just loud and obnoxious and inappropriate and stuff like that. But they were, they weren't like dangerous. But then, we had a meeting with them. I don't know if I can go into much detail about that, but I was the driving force to get them kicked out of the place because it was after the incident where Pussy was knocking on my door after 12 midnight, asking me for money, and she wouldn't leave my house, and I had to yell her out of my house. And then I'm saying, you don't, I went into machete mode, and I was like, you don't understand. If you was a man, there would be blood on this fucking floor already. And then her people heard that. Her daughter was the only one that had balls enough to come down, and I knew she carried a box cutter, and but she wasn't looking me in the eye, so I wasn't afraid of her, and I wasn't going nowhere. And I was like, I told that story before, but probably a couple of times. If you'll forgive the repeats, but I'll work it into with something else. But she says, um, um, we're gonna tell the landlord on you. We're gonna call the landlord. And I'm like, call the fucking landlord. Why you're at it? Why don't you call the fucking cops? But you get your asses back up those fucking stairs. And so I yelled them back upstairs. And then, I called the landlord, and I'm they had one more blowout fight on the porch, and then both me and the wheelchair guy complained about it. And that was the final straw. And then they're like, well, we're going to have a meeting. And I'm like, I want to be there. He came, he said, he came, and I was like, I want to be there. And he goes, I don't want you to be there. You know, he's like, I want you to go in your apartment, and I want you to sit. And, just let me handle it. It's not going to help you being there. Because, he's saying they know that you're responsible for them getting thrown out. It's not going to help you being there. So I'm like, okay, you're the boss. It's your building. So I go in the building, but there's a hallway area, and they all happen to be just like leaving at the same time and up on the balcony. So they see me up there, and what did I say? I said, look, I didn't, I said something to him before the landlord could say anything. I said, look, I never wanted any of this to happen, or something along those lines. And they knew that they were getting kicked out at that point. So they started coming after me, yelling shit at me. And I was like, listen, Gerald, that's the landlord's first name. He doesn't want me to be here, and he's the boss. He owns the building. So I'm going in there, and they're like, well, I want you to be here. And I'm like, he owns the building. He doesn't want me to be here. I'm going inside. So I went inside, and there was a bunch of yelling and stuff. And then there was a meeting, and they decided that some of the hood people got thrown out, but Bootsy was allowed to stay, and her people. And I was like, I told them that was a mistake. I got outvoted. I was like, you're making a mistake. You're just going to have to throw her out later on. I mean, I'm getting outvoted. I know by the wheelchair guy and you. It's 2 against 1. But, you're making a mistake with this. And, I rightly predicted that there was going to be more trouble over that. So there was more trouble, and Bootsy got kicked out too. And before they got kicked out, they got 25 of my dollars off of me just because this guy named Chucky knocked on my door and made this plea. And I knew he had a job before, but he was like, I'm between jobs, and, shook my hand and played it straight and everything. And he took $25 off of me that he never returned. He was like, I'll get this to you by Friday. It's like, that's when I get paid. I just started this new job. Blah, blah, blah. And he just stole some of my money. And then, before they got kicked, this is after I already kicked them out. This guy, so I already kicked the guy, I already had him kicked out, and he's coming to me and knocking on my door, and I'm like, I don't know what that had to do with why I went ahead and coughed up to $25, but I get spared at the time, and me and him, we always got along okay, and so. Man, what the hell? It's only 25 bucks. You know, I'll trust the young dude. Never saw the money again, but the thing that got me is like, I warned both the guy in the wheelchair and my landlord that it was just going to come down to them getting thrown out, and then they steal the guy in the wheelchair's air conditioner on the way out. That's low, man. That's low, you know, because this isn't a hot climate, but if you got somebody with bad health that's in a wheelchair, they can actually die from the heat, and they stole his air conditioner. So, anyways, I was going to end it on the previous story with the Black Lives Matter, but instead I went into repeats with maybe few more details. So, my apologies about any repeats for anybody that's after all this, and hopefully this never happens again, where I get bothered and agitated and my arm starts tingling at 3 o'clock in the morning. It is now 4:20. The sun will be rising in 2 hours, and my schedule is bugged. Thanks to my friends and family who love me. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.